welcome back to the channel, everyone. And we've been telling stories, car-related stories from driving experience of late, and so this is another one. So I'm about 18. My mate's a few years older than me. He's just got married, and his wife has had a problem with her eyes, so she couldn't get a driving licence at first. She had corrective surgery later and got it sorted, but she hadn't got a driving licence. So he used to take her onto a bit of, sort of private road or whatever, and give her a few driving lessons. And we ended up going on holiday. I've said about this story down in Cornwall, where I ended up on an archaeological dig, driving a Land Rover across it. But the same holiday, they were there, and we found some tracks, off-road tracks. So we decided to let his wife have a go at driving, and she was hilarious. So we drive up this side of this cliff, onto the top of the cliff basically, above the sea. And we're driving this little track, and she's going at a reasonable pace, and she hits this bump that actually lifts the near side of the vehicle. And then she turns into it as well. So she's then driving and balancing this Land Rover on two wheels on top of a cliff edge where the sea is just literally 10 feet away from, we're 10 feet away from the edge, and if you rolled it, we'd probably end up going off the cliff and into the sea. And she's there on two wheels, balancing the car on two wheels. And it seemed like forever, and we're sort of trying to then explain to her what she's done, and she hasn't got a clue. She just thought, oh, it's a bump, that's it. She didn't realise she got it up on two wheels and steered into it to make it even worse. And I think she frightened us too, her husband and myself, out of our lives, but she was just completely oblivious. Of course, she couldn't really see very well, so probably part of the reason was that she couldn't see very well. But she had a few experiences in that Land Rover where she did some crazy things. So we're back home in Shropshire, and again up on top of Longmin there used to be tracks where you could drive and nobody would really bat an eyelid if you were in an old Land Rover. Nowadays, with the off-road scene and people doing green lanes and all that, a lot more people now get upset if we go off-roading. Even if it's a green lane, they get upset. It's only for walkers or whatever. But in an old Land Rover then, nobody batted an eyelid. So we're going down this track, and there's a whopping big puddle. It's a huge thing, probably more than double the length of the car, and she's going again at a reasonable pace. We've got the roof off the Land Rover, so you've literally got the windscreen, and then the sides are just like, you can take the door tops off and everything, so it's literally down level with your legs, top of your legs, where the sides of the vehicle are. And she hit this puddle, and it was just filthy black mud. It came straight over the top of the screen and soaked us all. It just absolutely, I think there was about 4 of us in it at that time, and she just absolutely caked us all in mud, and quite funny, but good job. It was a nice sunny day and we all dried out reasonably quickly, if a bit muddier than we started, but she was good fun. On that day I decided to let my mate drive back, and he wasn't particularly familiar with the Land Rover. He'd driven it before, but not very far. Anyway, we were going down, coming from the Long Min back towards Much Wenlock, and braked into this junction and slightly round a corner, and then you've got a junction. And as he come around the corner, he braked and into the junction, and it just pirouetted a full 180 degrees, and he ended up backwards on the line for the junction. It's like completely facing the wrong way. It's yeah, if you brake with them, they are, you know, they're not called lightweight for nothing, and the back end on them is particularly light, and if you brake and steer at the same time, it will come round on you. And that's what happened to him, and we sat there facing the wrong way. Yeah, it's he felt a bit of a clot, but he's not the only person that happened to. A friend of mine had a Mercedes GWagon in the early days of G-Wagon, so it was about D-Reg, so that put it about 1986 model, and that in the wet on the wide tyres that they did at the time just made them very skittish on the back end. If you braked and tried to turn at the same time, they would come around on you quite quickly as well. And so yeah, we had a bit of fun in that one at times. But the G-Wagon was an amazing vehicle. We went up into Wales and we did a bit of off-roading on my mate's granddad's farm, and the Land Rover would go up these grassy tracks, and you'd get to a bit of a rise, and then it'd stop and it'd just sit there spinning against the rise. The G-Wagon would stop exactly the same spot, exactly the same, and then you pull the diff locks in and off it'd drive. See the difference that middle and rear diff locks made over just, it was a Series Land Rover, Series 3 lightweight, so it was effectively locked up middle diff anyway, you know, no middle diff, it was just locked up solid front to rear, and they would both stop at exactly the same place and sit there spinning, and then the G-Wagon just pull the rear diff lock in and off it'd go. It was quite incredible. But, yeah, we had some good times back then, doing just day trips really. That one we went up to his granddad's farm because it was near Aberystwyth. We stayed in a cottage up there that was on the farm. Granddad had got like a holiday let cottage, so we stayed there, and it was really good fun. Yeah, but my mate's missus was hilarious in driving in them days, because like I say, she could barely see. She did have corrective surgery later and got to get her driving licence eventually, but she just didn't have a clue about feeling what the car was doing, and led to some quite hairy moments at times. So those are the stories of owning a lightweight and letting somebody who can't see drive it. But it's all good fun, isn't it? It's all what you do when you're young and teenagers, and that's what we did anyway.